You got to listen to what I'm about to say, because many of you love, adore to embark on buying your own electronics and being your own cook in the kitchen, which I'm sorry to break your heart. No, you can't do what I do at the level that I do. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today we're going to do something similar to what we did a few days ago, in which I gave you a real-time commentary using my Soulution 701 stereo amplifier, as well as the 727 Flagship preamplifier and the DCS Gryphon Apex player with the matching clock. If you haven't seen that video, I urge you to go back to that video and watch it before you start watching this one. Today's video, it will be something different. For the first time ever, I am going to use my Gryphon Apex monoblocks at an MSRP of $210,000 for the pair. But instead of using the matching $78,000 Commander preamplifier, which happens to be the preamplifier that should be used with the Apex monoblocks, I am going to do something different and utilize Soulution's Flagship preamplifier, the 727. So I'm grabbing the best monoblocks that Gryphon makes today and using the best preamplifier that Soulution makes today, the 727, and see what kind of results we get. Now, there's a reason why I'm making this video, but I'm not going to tell you what that is. I just want you to go through the motions. I'm going to play the same songs from the last video, and I am going to articulate what I'm hearing through this microphone right here, which happens to be a very small lavalier, but it does a decent job at picking up my voice, my commentary, and obviously the music that's playing through the system. All right, before I get started, if you are looking for ultra high-end audio components, used high-end audio components, I encourage you to look at my website, jaysaudiolab.com. I have a ton of top-end electronics there all the time, and maybe some that I haven't even listed. So if there's something you've seen on my channel that hasn't made it to the website, make sure you inquire. Ask me about it, okay? Everything that you see here eventually is up for sale, because as a YouTuber, we can't keep everything forever. You all, my audience, gets bored. So I have to mix it up a bit, right? So there's constant inventory coming in and out. There is so much more to see. As a matter of fact, speaking of inventory, I want to show you the latest cables from my cable line, Authentic Audio Image. This is their brand new flagship model, top of the line model, beautiful, beautiful XLRs. I have not put them through the motions yet. They need to be broken in. I also have the matching speaker cables and the matching power cords. If you have any interest in my cable line, which I have used successfully with Magical loudspeakers, I've used it successfully with Wilson, I've used it successfully even with Von Stryker, please reach out to me. Let's see what we can come up with. I guarantee you, you're not going to be disappointed. There's a reason why I selected it, okay? I was tired of paying $100,000 or $50,000 for a set of speaker cables. I promise you, once you hear it, it's going to make it very difficult for you to want to spend more money on more expensive cables. All right, so let's get this party going. Please subscribe, hit the like button. Let's have fun with this. Same music that we played last time. The amplifiers have been playing music for the last 5 hours straight. Setting is medium bias, if you need to know. Okay, so medium bias, and again, they have been playing music for like 4 or 5 hours straight. Before I am doing this auditioning, I needed to make sure the amplifiers are fully warmed up, ready to go.
For some people,
give it more volume.
Some people got to suffer before they die.
There you go.
There's about a man.
Tremendous control. I can already feel the Gryphon Apex. The sheer energy of this amplifier is just, it's a brutal assault on your senses.
people die of cancer. Some people die of AIDS. But this man's gonna be crucified.
All right. Right out of the gate, of course, the Gryphon Apex cast a massive soundstage. Just enormous soundstage. Here we go. Ground shaking bass.
Woke up this morning from a deep sleep.
It's a darker sound than the Soulution 701 stereo that I have here.
Found out.
It's definitely a darker sound.
I found out I was Jesus. I don't want to be crucified. Don't want.
Muscular sound signature that is very, very common with Gryphon amplifiers is in full display right now.
Walk among the dead.
If you love
I don't want to be
dynamics,
Jesus.
very powerful sound, you will not go wrong with this set of amplifiers, the Gryphon Apex monoblocks. Great, really good imaging. Although I dare to say I found the Soulution 701 slightly better. Again, I want to make sure I say this, the Soulution 701 stereo amplifier. I happen to have the only 3 701 stereo amplifiers in the whole world.
Woke up this morning from a deep.
All right, so the initial reaction that I have for you all is, number one, it is certainly a much more calm presentation than the Soulution 701 stereo was. And what I mean by calm is the fact that it doesn't sound as jumpy, as immediate as it did through the Soulution 701 stereo. I don't know if this has to do perhaps with the switch mode power supply inside the Soulution as opposed to the linear power supply or transformer-based power supply on the Gryphon Apex. Now, that does not mean that the Apex monos are slow. I want to make sure I say that, okay? This is a fast-sounding amplifier too. As far as the top end, I am finding it, again, I'm finding the top end a little more rolled off, warmer. The leading edges are not as sharpened or as sharp, I should say, as they were with the 701 stereo in the mix. But I want to repeat myself again before you go out there creating narratives, okay? This is the Gryphon Apex with the 727 preamplifier from Soulution. It is not with its own sibling, which happens to be the Commander, and it's right there on my rack, okay? So I am doing an experiment here to tell you what I'm hearing by mix and matching these two brands, okay? So let me continue on to the next song that you heard, again, on that last video. I hear stuff right here, literally, right here. Right here, I'm hearing stuff. Or right in the corner, rear corner of the room, around here. Outstanding bass, of course.
Live all your days according to his way. Oh, Mary, never show
Brain rattling bass in here.
Pretending high grade. Oh, Mary, what good is your crown with your heart on the ground? Oh, Mary, oh, God save the Queen. You pray for warmth. It gets colder.
I mean, this is easily some of the best sounding amplifiers I've ever had in here. I'm not necessarily just judging the amplifiers, I'm judging the marriage between the 727 and the Gryphon Apex monoblocks here. So my comments come from those two being in the mix. I want to make sure I say that, okay? So the grunt of the Apex monoblocks is just ridiculous, really, really ridiculous. I feel as if the foundation in my room, the ground is shaking, and that's impossible because it's a slab of concrete, right? So there's no vibrations happening, but it feels that way. It feels as if the bass is crawling from the speaker all over my toes and to the back of my seat, the back of my chair. You feel this immediate control that the Gryphon has over the speakers that is really special. However, I don't know if I'm getting the three-dimensionality that I was getting through the Soulution 701 with the 727. I feel as if the 701 had more of a ghostly type of feeling where the images crawled out of the speaker and made their way to me. There was a lot more that happening through the 701. I'm not getting that effect with the Gryphon Apex monos. I am getting a very well-balanced sound, but it feels a little more two-dimensional in comparison to the Soulution 701 stereo. Let's continue. Let's go on to the next track. Wow. I mean, it's a slap in the face what comes out of the speakers. When this song starts, it just slaps you, smacks you across your cheek. Where do I begin? I'd say the biggest attribute right now that I am picking up is how impressive and powerful the sound is through the Apex monoblocks. It's impossible to even think about any Gryphon amplifier sounding anemic. As a matter of fact, if you currently own speakers that just sound anemic, they need a lot more grunt, you really should consider a Gryphon amplifier. It doesn't have to be the Apex, but I'm going to tell you 99.999% of the times that you connect a Gryphon amplifier into any speaker, it wakes up that speaker in ways you never thought were imaginable. The sound itself is impressive. I feel that the louder I go, and I went a little louder, by the way, with this track, I went up a couple of clicks, the sound swells up. The sound stage swells up. It gets more effortless, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it's strained or compressed or as if it's working really, really hard to provide the volume levels that you might be looking for, the loudness, the decibels that you may want in your room. The Apex monoblocks just swell up with that power. It's like this feeling of effortlessness that doesn't seem strained or like it wants you to turn the volume down. It's really a cool effect. The music almost feels as if it's louder, but your ears can't really pick up a louder sound, if that makes sense, because it's so effortless. Again, it is so, it's so easy to listen to it, even at higher volume levels. The Apex is just cruise. And so that's a really cool effect. And I don't know if that would be the effect with a single 701 stereo. That's something that I cannot really be sure about. I think you may need 2 of those 701 stereos to really become a lot more effortless, right? So that would be more of the apples to apples comparison. But overall, anyone looking to buy a Soulution amplifier, I would say you have to make sure that you do careful matching of the electronics. The same way goes for Gryphon. Let me go to the next song. I'm going to play a female vocal before I give you the wrap up. Awesome vocals. That's old school Class A vocals that are just beautiful there. Just dead center, locked in, hanging in space. Moment of truth. All right, so I'm going to give you my final take on this combination of Gryphon Apex and the Soulution 727 preamplifier. Here's my final take when it comes to mix and matching these two components. You just can't effing do it. I said it. You can effing do it. Here is why I say that. I know what the Gryphon Apex monoblocks are capable of. I've had them for a long time with my Commander preamplifier. And if I listen through the 727 and Apex monos, I find that the bass can be smearing some of the imaging, some of the nuances, some of the definition that I know the Apex has in it. It feels as if one, maybe the 727 doesn't know how to control the overabundance of bass that is found within the Apex monoblocks. And this is why perhaps the Commander is needed to really have full control of the Apex's bottom end. Right now I am getting a ton of bass, but I'm not sure if I find it as separated and articulate or well-behaved as I know is the case when I use the Gryphon Commander with the Apexes. You gotta listen to what I'm about to say because many of you love, adore to embark on buying your own electronics and being your own cook in the kitchen, which I'm sorry to break your heart. No, you can't do what I do at the level that I do. It takes a lot of money to do what I do. Okay, so if it means anything to you all, listen to me carefully. Do not embark on mix and matching top-end electronics like what I have behind me. Okay, I just did a real-time evaluation of this. You have to buy the amp and matching preamplifier to really understand what the designer wanted you to hear. Whatever their intention was, you need to buy their amp and preamp together. Else, you don't have a baseline. You have no clue what you're doing when you're buying a Gryphon Apex and buying, I don't know, an audio research preamplifier, which I really love. You put those two together and yeah, you might get some good results, but how do you know if the Commander sounds far superior to what you just did? How do you know? You don't have a baseline, so you wouldn't know. So you have to build that foundation by buying the amp and preamp from the same brand. Then, only then, is when you can actually get out there and have fun with it. You can go buy another preamplifier from perhaps Boulder, Audio Research, Past Labs, whatever you want to call it. Bring it in and then compare to your baseline. That is the proper way of knowing what components really are intended to do for you. What a brand has designed so tirelessly to really bring you a quality performance. It doesn't work that way. In my early days, actually, I started doing what many of you do, which is buy this Past Labs preamplifier because the reviews say it's pretty good, and I'll buy this Boulder amplifier because the reviews say it's pretty good. That's fine, you can do that. But then you haven't really heard Boulder amplifiers in their full glory. When you're using a Past Labs preamplifier or an Audio Research preamplifier or a Soulution preamplifier, you have no clue what Boulder is capable of then. You have no clue what Gryphon is capable of then. If you're mix and matching, you have no clue what Soulution is capable of then if you're mix and matching. You understand what I'm getting at? This is the reason why I even created my consultation service, so that I can give you this feedback, so that I can tell you before you get out there and spend thousands of dollars on your next equipment by cooking in the kitchen, maybe I already cooked that meal for you. Maybe you need to connect with me so I can tell you you're going to fail miserably because I've already done that. It doesn't work. Stop spending your hard-earned money by doing what I am doing here in my lab. Some of you are cheapskates, love to do your own trials, love to believe you know what you're doing, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong. That's part of the hobby, mix and matching and creating your own combinations. But until you have the same electronics from the same brand, you haven't done anything. You've just wasted your time, your money, and your back by lifting a lot of heavy equipment. If any of you have attempted to do your mix and matching and fail miserably because you found out after the fact that by buying the right amp and preamp, the same brand names, you realized that whatever you thought you had wasn't that great. Has this happened to you before? If so, comment. Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear from each and every one of you. Thank you for your support, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.